And we're back with Survivor Hot Takes. It's me, Coach Drew, aka the Dirt Squirrel. And for the people that know what we're talking about today, Dirt Squirrel is what Ben Reed referred to Alina as when he voted her out. Still don't know why he called her that. She's really nice. Joining me today is my buddy Ben from college, who is currently watching all of the seasons of Survivor in order. Inspired by not only myself, but his girlfriend to watch all the seasons. He got invested very early, thank goodness. And he just finished Nicaragua a couple days ago, maybe last week.
Yep.
Ben, favorite player that you've seen so far and favorite season that you've seen so far?
Boston Rob and Tyson are probably my two favorites. Boston Rob, I just always root for no matter what. He's kind of, to me, he can do no wrong. Even when he does something wrong, I'm still going to root for him. I don't care. And I'll probably hear his first villains last season. The last season I watched prior to Nicaragua, it's tough to beat that one. That was great.
Okay. And I guess your least favorite season?
Oh, least favorite. So I skipped Thailand.
Yeah.
Okay, so least favorite player. Oh, man. Why am I'm drawing a blank on the guy that said his mother was dead.
Johnny Fairblue.
Johnny Fairblue.
Johnny
Right.
Fairblue.
Yeah. Although I kind of respected how much of a heel he was. Pissed me off constantly, so.
So you didn't like him in Micronesia either? The one episode he was in Micronesia?
when he broke his face?
Where Yao Man pushed him into the boat? So yeah, Ben's knowledge of the show does not go past Nicaragua, so just keep that in mind. But he does know a lot about Nicaragua because he just watched it. And what we're doing here today.
And wait, I want to say, I forgot. Sneaky favorite with Rob and them. I love Yule. Yule was amazing.
Oh yeah,
Yule's great. Why is he not in any more seasons?
He comes back for Winners at War.
Okay.
He comes back. He's the most cerebral winner like ever. He just yeah. I could do a whole episode on Yo Kwan.
Great.
So our goal today, much like my Redemption Island season or my Redemption Island episode, which that's the next season that Ben's going to be watching. I'm not here trying to say that Nicaragua is like some top tier season and that you have to watch it because it's so amazing. I'm here just to defend it when people try to say it's worse than Thailand or worse than Island of the Idols or even worse than Worlds Apart. I feel like the reason that people hate Nicaragua so much is one, because of the quits, and two, because they didn't the cesspool that is Survivor Reddit didn't feel like the winner was deserving, whatever the hell that means. We have an episode coming on that in the near future. So first of all, what were your initial thoughts of Nicaragua, the first, like pre-merge? We're just going to talk about pre-merge for right now.
Okay, so first off, I kind of came into this season knowing that you said that everybody hates this season, so I kind of came in with a low expectation. And honestly, I mean, my girlfriend Julia will tell you, every single episode, I was laughing hysterically pre-merge. I loved it. Like I know, like so, I'm keeping my notes app with notes on every single episode, and I kept referencing through the season like, this is the funniest season I've seen yet. This is great. I fucking loved it. Like we're allowed to swear on this, right?
Yeah. We're good.
No, but I loved the season, honestly. Like everything that, I mean, Nay was just psycho when she said she was gonna punch somebody's damn leg off. Like,
I was Jaeger, throw it in the fire. It's like, all right, fam.
Oh, and like the Purple Kelly edit to me just became a running joke that I thought was so. She had her moment and she'd be like, I don't know what to say.
Oh, Purple Kelly, what do you have to say? And she was like, I have no idea what's going on.
I have no idea what's going on.
And I want to touch on Purple Kelly later because she doesn't really become relevant, I guess, until the merge. But that all-time line when she gets her interview. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I've been sucking it up for so long. There's nothing left for me to suck.
I want to start with, what did you think of Jimmy Johnson being on this season?
Jimmy Johnson. Okay, before I get into my impressions with him, I did have a question that me and Julia were talking about. So she was thinking that when this season came out, that it was around the time where they were moving around when football was on during the week, and that the thought was that they were trying to get Jimmy Johnson onto the show to try to get some of the NFL viewership onto the Survivor train.
I mean, I can't confirm or deny. I don't know. I know that Jimmy Johnson was a lifelong fan of the show, and the show up to that point had a history. Had a history of casting certain celebrities. So they had Crystal Gabon, the Olympian that had her gold medals taken away because she was taking steroids. They had Gary Hogaboom in Guatemala, Gary Hawkins in Guatemala. I know there was a couple other mixed in there, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was a publicity stunt to say, hey, look, we got Jimmy Johnson, watch, football on CBS. But also I know that Jimmy Johnson was a big fan of the show. And I actually think that Jimmy Johnson probably could have gone farther if he hadn't laid down on his sword. I think he got voted out third.
I don't deserve to be here.
Yeah. No one was ever Jimmy T, the one.
Nuts. It goes nuts.
Put me in, coach. Put me in. It's like, dude, just go. Just take this is not your real coach. This is fake. Or like Jimmy Johnson isn't a coach in life. He's just a coach in football. And he's like, put me in, coach. I got this. And it's like, well, no, we're good. And then Jimmy T, I think, get voted out the very next episode.
But I think Jimmy Johnson's his biggest contribution was talking. What was her name? Jane? Was it Jane?
Holly. He talked to Holly when she was thinking about quitting. Yeah.
After she filled up the dude's $1,400 shoes with sand and threw them in the water. I mean, that's fantastic.
He shouldn't have brought them.
Why would you bring this? I don't know.
I mean, Dan isn't. We can talk about Dan
most useless human ever.
And I plan on talking about Dan for a while. But yeah, and it's that was one of the things that I liked about the show, even though it didn't work out perfectly. You had Jimmy Johnson talking Holly down, and then Holly becoming a power player later in the game, and then you had Holly trying to talk Purple Kelly down, and that not working. But she quoted Coach Jim. She said, Jimmy Johnson told me back in episode 2 or 3 that this, that, and the other. And Purple Kelly's like, I can't. Yeah, like you said, I can't suck it up. I've got nothing else to suck. You have. So, what did you think about the old versus young twist?
I mean, I thought it was predictable, kind of, that the young tribe was going to do better, just because the old tribe, while there was definitely people that were good on it, had so many liabilities. I mean, like Dan never did any challenge, skipped everything, and just so many of them just weren't physically able to compete with the way that the others were.
Yeah.
I definitely think it was good that they switched it back, because you couldn't have gone the whole season like that. You couldn't have gone, because they twisted that prior to the merge, right?
Yeah, they swapped before the merge. What did you think about the Medallion of Power?
Medallion of Power. What happened with that? Wasn't that where
exactly? Okay, that's all I need to hear. The Medallion of Power is a joke. Like it should not have been on the. Like there was no point to it.
I remember it. You got an advantage in the next challenge, but half the time you didn't use it because you didn't want to give it to the other team. Yeah,
because it did. I thought, and I think that's a detriment to the season, but it's not like horrible because it didn't last the entire season. It lasted like 3 or 4 episodes, and then it just screwed off somewhere. Just like the old new tribe thing, it lasted a couple episodes, and then it just screwed off somewhere. And then we get to the swap, and one of my favorite parts of the swap is Fabio and Marty, and Marty's like, I'm a chess grandmaster. And Fabio,
he seems smart.
He seems smart. And he's like, oh yeah, the guy that I can't remember the guy that he references. Like he's a famous tennis player or something, and like Fabio's just like a bozo, and that's a lot of the narrative. The pre-merge is like everyone, even Shannon, the scumbag Shannon, He's the one that gives Fabio his name. Like there is no Fabio without Shannon, sadly.
I was surprised this season how much like they stuck to the nicknames on people.
Purple Kelly, Fabio.
Purple Kelly, but like the other Kelly was gone, and they still were calling her Purple the whole time. They could just be like, all right, you're Kelly now.
You're Kelly now.
Fucking Purple Kelly. I mean.
Well, even when Fabio's his mom shows up, and Probst is like, "Oh yeah, we call him Fabio now." It's like,
his mom's just like, "Oh, okay, all right, we can go with that." Like,
but that, and I think the problem is the entire narrative, and you could blame the edit, whatever. The entire narrative of Fabio, the entire season, is he's portrayed as a moron. So of course the audience, especially the casual audience, is going to be peeved and or just overly pissed off that he wins. Now I honestly I don't think there is a bad Survivor winner because you can win any game anyway.
He did what he had to do.
You did what you have to do.
He won at the end. He won at the end to keep himself alive.
He went on an immunity streak at the end of the game, and he did. He was able to convince the jury. He was able to convince Nayanka, who had spent the entire season saying that she hated him. She hated him. He got Nayanka to vote for him. So
she was the most wild card vote, though. You had she could have voted for any three of those.
So because Nayanka had the most confessionals of the season, even though she quit, I think 3 or 4 episodes before the finale, and she still had the most confessionals. What were your opinions? What was your opinion on Nayanka?
So, I mean, she was entertaining. I still was confused why Brenda aligned with her from the beginning, because Brenda was my pick when the season started. So every season, I wait until the end of season or the end of episode 2, and I pick my number 1 and number 2 people that I think are going to win the show. Brenda was my pick, followed by Sash. So great picks this season.
Yes.
But
you picked the 2 best players of the season besides Marty.
I didn't really know much about them. So it kind of worked out. But I felt like why did she align with Nay? Because Nay was just such a wild card. Like she was gonna flip on you the second she got a chance.
And she did. And she voted out Brenda. She voted out Brenda.
But I mean, she's got to lose so much respect when she said she was quitting the game. Which it was such like, why would you quit at that point? Like you've been there that long, you're gonna quit now. And
the crazy thing is, Nayanka was probably in the best situation of all 9 of the people left in the game. All 9, I think it was 9 people left when she quit. She was probably in the best situation because no one was targeting her.
She still had an idol.
Yeah, everyone was going after each other. Nayanka could have easily been sitting at the end with Sash and like Jane or Holly or whatever, and could have had I don't think she would have won, but she could have been sitting at the end. But the fact that and my favorite part of that tribal where her and Purple Kelly quit is Probst asked Fabio how old he is, and I think he said he's a year older than Purple Kelly. And he was like, I would never think about quitting because I put too much work to be on the show, blah blah blah. I know what I can deal with, and this is it. And I think that's when I didn't fall in love with Fabio to the extent where I wanted him to win. But I'm like, you know what? Judd's not dumb. Like he understands. And when they quit, Probst, you could tell Probst was pissed off.
He was pissed. I mean, he hates Twitters.
What did he say? Oh, what do you think we should do with your torch? What'd you do with theirs? But Nayanka, they didn't quit. I think my torch should be smuffed too. If you ever have a chance, if go on YouTube, they have the when the jury members arrive at where they stay until the end of the game. And so usually it's fun. Like they'll show up and everyone will like greet them with like drinks and say, you played great, blah, blah, they'll hug them. Nayanka and Purple Kelly showed up and like, it's just Marty waiting for them because Brenda and Alina are just like, screw these people. We could still be in the game. And, you guys just quit right after, I think that was right after Brenda or Marty got blindsided. I can't remember which one it was right before them. But yeah, I enjoyed Nayanka's chaotic nature. I didn't like Nayanka the person on the show. I didn't enjoy a lot of the things she said, but I enjoyed her as a character.
Oh,
If
I
that
love
makes
her
sense.
commentary. I mean, the commentary was crazy. It was great.
Yeah, which is crazy that they gave her so many confessionals in the show. Yeah,
Wait. Let's think about this for a second. Nay is a teacher.
a
She
gym
teaches
teacher. She's a PE teacher. She's a PE teacher, and she's talking about attacking crippled people. Like, come on. No, what I was gonna say is they know when they're putting the show together that Nyanka quit, yet they still gave her the most confessionals in the season, which means production liked her enough to at least say, "Hey, we know you quit, but yeah, you can have all these confessionals. Meanwhile, the winner of the season is going to have this many." And you could tell that they like Nyanka and not Purple Kelly because Purple Kelly got 4 or 5 confessionals, and
Yeah.
Nyanka had 40 plus, I believe. And
But you know what was weird though? Like Nayaka, she had an idol, and I thought it was the least talked about idol I've ever heard in the show. Like nobody mentioned it. She didn't mention it. It
she didn't
wasn't
give it away when she quit.
She finally quit. And she's like, "Hey Chase, do you want this?" And it was just like, "Oh yeah, she has an idol. I kind of forgot."
Yeah, I I don't understand why Nyanka has fans, like legitimate fans, not fans that are fans of her chaos. There are people that actually just like Nyanka and think she's like the best. I don't see where they're coming from with that, but
When she didn't let them go on the reward when she was literally leaving that night, come on, you lose a lot of respect for that.
yeah. So next, I want to touch on, and like I keep saying, we're trying to make Nicaragua sound a little better than it's perceived. And yes, Nyanka was a scumbag and this, that, and the other, but she was fun to watch. It's kind of how like everyone says that Coach is a crazy person. Yes, Coach is a crazy person. Coach is a crazy person, but everyone loves watching Coach. That's why he's come back twice after his first season, because everyone wants more Coach. I'm not saying that Nyanka and Coach are the same. I'm just saying if Nyanka hadn't quit, she definitely would have come back for another season.
Yeah.
So moving on to Dan. The two things I want to talk about with Dan. One, why did you bring those shoes? One point B, the fact that he said he would have, if Holly was a man, he would have like punched her in the face or something.
Okay.
But two, how much of a liability, and at the merge, how much of a non-factor he was.
Never mentioned. They were just like, "Oh, well, Dan's here." He was almost as much of an afterthought as Purple Kelly, honestly.
Yeah. Well, and the prime example of Dan is when they're doing the water challenge, where they have to jump off and throw the ball into the net, and
he just like hops.
And he hops, throws the ball, and then jumps in the water. And Probst is like, "No, you gotta jump and throw the ball." And Fabio's complaining to Probst, and he's like, "Yeah, I know." Dan is on one leg the entire season. There's the funny, now it's a gif of him during the Gulliver's Travels challenge, where he's sitting in the chair, and then at Final Tribal, he tears in the sash for some reason. He really went in on Sash, and it's like, Dan, what did you do this game? Period. Like physically, strategically, or socially.
He said that dumb is forever.
When he made fun of, like, I think Sash had like a tick, or like his eye like twitched every now and then, and then Dan meant
he gave Chase shit about being dumb. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. But he said something about Sash, and it's no, maybe that was Jay that said something about Sash. Yeah, that entire Final Tribal, they hated Sash, which you could tell because he got 0 votes. So we hit the merge, and you know, the old tribe has almost been decimated. Oh, before I get to that, what were your feelings on Tyrone?
Tyrone, he was my third pick. I almost picked him number 2. What episode did he get voted out at? I'm trying to find him.
It was during the swap. When Benry went up there and was like, "Oh yeah, the new king of the spot is here. Benry's here, baby," and then he knocks over the the pen thing. I love Tyrone's facial expressions during Tribal because it was me. It was me. He would just sit there like, "What the hell are these people?" Like when Wendy Joe got voted out first. When she like said, "Oh yeah, my husband said I was going to get voted out first," and blah blah blah. And Tyrone's like, whose man's is this?
Wait, also, let's talk about her for a second, because she was like, some people say I talk too much, and then she proceeded to not only talk for a while, but when she finished, Jeff started to move on. He went, actually, I got something else. Let's talk some more.
Great first boot. The greatest first boot in the history of the show. Amazing.
You want to get a word?
Yeah, we hit the merge. The younger tribe has the numbers that they decide that they want to stay young tribe strong.
Yeah.
But what happens instead is the game does become more fluid. And that's another reason that I don't hate the season is that they didn't go to the merge and just say, "Hey, we're going to do young versus old again." They had their own alliances based off of the relationships that they built in the game, and we had three of the older folks made it to the final six. I think it was Jane, Holly, and Dan all made it to the final six.
I forgot about Dan. Yeah, he did.
Which just shows that this was the new era of Survivor where people kind of stopped going to the merge and saying, "Okay, well, this was my original tribe, which means I have to stay loyal to them." It's like, yeah, but you were with them probably the same amount of time as you were with these people. So why do you feel like you have to be loyal to the people that you played with in the beginning?
I was surprised with how I thought it was smart, but I was surprised that Nay and everyone turned on Brenda like they did.
And I think that was a smart move on their part because Brenda, there was amongst all these bozos in this season, Brenda probably should have won this game.
Yeah,
Brenda,
she was good.
Yeah.
Oh, she had Chase Rice just sitting in the palm of her hand.
Oh my God.
Which speaking of, my favorite thing about the whole season.
Go to Chase? Let's just go into Chase.
So Chase Rice, realizing country music singer,
the most successful player of Survivor ever.
So, my running joke: anytime anything happened to him, I was just like, "Oh, he's writing a song about that one."
I'm looking at how much Chase Rice is worth.
Yeah, every one of his songs, it's actually really funny. I listen to Chase Rice. First off, all of his popular songs are wildly sexual. Like every one of his songs is just like, "I'm trying to fuck." And we just love to think
secretly he's singing about Jane.
No, it's about Brenda. Every song about Brenda. It's the one that got away. He had her. She was a Miami Dolphins cheerleader.
He had
her. He had her. He just let it slip out of his grasp. He's gonna sing about that forever.
Well, and that's the thing with Chase is that, and I think that's why Chase got the votes that Sash didn't. It's the fact that Chase, I feel like the bonds that Chase was making with people, I think he was actually trying to build those bonds. I think that he was being genuine.
He was just kind of stupid with. He made promises he couldn't keep, and that's what.
Yes, as compared to Sash, who was like, "Oh yeah, I think was it Jane or Holly? One of the two. He was like, she's my my Survivor mom. Like, blah blah blah. He's like bringing real life into this stuff, and I feel like a lot of the jury were turned off to that. Was the fact that he was using real life to gain leverage with people as compared to Chase, who was, he was just being, "Oh yeah, I'm a good old boy from the South. Like I just love everyone as long as your skin is." I'm sorry. As he was befriending people and being genuine, and I feel like a lot of people turned off the Sash from that. And also the reason that Fabio got the votes over both of them is because Fabio didn't do any of that. He was just the likable doofus that everyone was like, "Oh yeah, Fabio," and he won a few challenges. So
also, I feel like Fabio, he kept saying in his confessionals how he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna pretend I'm like a dummy," but we're all kind of just like, "I think you are."
Can you not pretend in your confessionals real quick so we know?
You are very convincing. You've got nothing yet to convince me otherwise.
Yeah, so we as we continue to go through the merge, we get to the unfortunate part of Purple Kelly and Nyanka quitting. And Purple Kelly had actually I think both of them at some point had brought up thinking about quitting earlier. And so when they finally do quit, I do agree with you that the wheels kind of came off and that it just kind of became a drag. It's like, wow, this is really, and that you get to see them sitting on the jury. It's like,
why do they get jury?
Yeah, and that's one thing I loved about
there's no reason you should be on jury.
Yeah, and Probst made that abundantly clear at the reunion, where it's like that's never going to happen again.
Yeah,
because of this. But yeah, I do think that it kind of drags on after the Purple Kelly Nyanka quit. But I will agree with you and say that I do think the pre-merge, all the way through the merge until their quit, wasn't good. It was chaotic and funny and Gabon-like. Yeah, it was Gabon.
Funny.
It was funny.
Nothing about it. I was like, oh, we got a Boston Rob in this group. No, it was like, this is a shit show, and I'm here to watch it. Like,
yeah.
Popcorn. I'm here to watch this shit.
All of these people are just a joke, except for like
Brenda.
Yeah.
And you know what? I love Jane. Jane was
a bad. Yeah, she won fan favorite that season.
She was so fun.
What did you think about her beef with Marty?
What was her beef? I'm trying to remember.
I don't remember. Like the name that I don't remember. Either they never showed it to us, or something happened. Oh yeah, or something happened.
Didn't Marty just try to vote her out, and then she like hated him after?
She wanted Marty gone the entire time until he left. Jane hated that man.
Yeah, that was episode 7 where she started hating Marty publicly.
Yeah, it was confusing. I also don't understand why Benry hated Alina. Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So I don't understand why Benry hated Alina. But what did you think of the Alina? Oh, that wasn't even Alina. It was Nyanka stealing the food and the cooking supplies.
And then Alina's just eating it all with her.
But they targeted Alina. Nyanka was able to talk her way out of it.
Alina was just too submissive there. I mean, like, she should have just been like, well, Nay did it. And Nay just has, you got to give her credit. She does have a way of just annoying the shit out of you until you stop talking to her. Because she would just be like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And finally people are just like, all right, I'm going to move on. Whereas Alina was just like, I'm sorry. I did fuck up. It is my fault.
That led to Benry calling her a dirt squirrel. So Benry is a forgotten, not a gem, because there was not much to Benry, but he had a great name, I guess. We're gonna call it a great name. And there is the classic, I think it was a reward challenge. And he does a dismount, and Probst goes Benry with the ceremonial loser dismount or something like that. It's like, yeah, Benry, like, God, Benry was Benry. I think he was the first to go when Fabio started on his winning streak. I'm pretty sure. So we get to the final 3, and going to the final 3, who do you think is going to win at this point? Because I thought Chase.
So I didn't think Chase was going to win purely, and this is kind of not fair, I guess you'd say. I didn't think Chase was going to win because I feel like I would have heard that Chase Rice.
What's right?
So that's kind of not fair, I guess. But I did, in my notes here, I had, wow, Chase has actually got a shot here. I still don't think he's going to win, but I thought he had a shot. My prediction was that it was going to be, once I heard everyone ask them questions, I gave a predicted vote for each person. And my prediction was Chase 4, Fabio 3, Sash 2.
Wow, so you thought it was okay. So you thought it was going to be close, like
yes.
between the 3 of them. Okay.
Yeah. I did not. I thought Sasha was only going to get 2 votes. I didn't see him not getting any. I thought Purple Somebody was going to give him one, and I had who did I have the other one given Sash? I had Holly voting for Sash.
So Fabio wins. What's your initial reaction? Was it like a wet fart? It was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it was just kind of like Fabio didn't piss anybody off, and he got hot at the end.
Yeah, and that's why I give him the credit that he deserves. He won Survivor. I think that it was a wet fart, winner, whatever, but that doesn't mean that he's not deserving. And like I said at the beginning of the episode, there's going to be an episode coming out in a couple weeks, talking about this misconception by casual fans and like these overzealous fans that think there are deserving winners and they're not deserving winners. That there's no such thing as a deserving winner in Survivor, just like there's no deserving winner in like the NFL. I will always go back to the 2007 Patriots, the undefeated Patriots, losing to the Giants. So I feel like when a non-deserving winner of Survivor wins, those are the New York Giants in that situation. So you're saying that just because they beat the team or the person that played better for the majority of the season is non-deserving. It's like, well, you'd be hard-pressed to convince me of that. I think that you do what you think is best to get to the end, and then you convince a jury, or you have drunk Eric Cardona and Samoa convince everyone else that.
And I totally agree with you, because all right, let's throw a crazy scenario out there. Let's say that Dan makes it to final 3. I'm serious. Let's say Dan makes it to final 3, and the other 2 pissed off the jury. They didn't manage the jury. Dan could win, and you know what?
So who you say? You're saying that it would be Dan,
Sash, and like I don't know, Nay, if she didn't quit.
I think that Nay might win in that situation.
It might. But all I'm saying is Dan would have a shot because they didn't manage the jury. And if he wins, at the end of the day, you got to be like, well, good fucking job.
Guess we're going to sit here and acknowledge the fact that Dan won Survivor. Show me Dan highlights on YouTube real quick. And it's just like him jumping off the platform on a loop for an hour.
Well, okay, so question for you. If Jane makes it to final 3, she wins, right?
If who?
Jane makes it to final 3.
If Jane or Holly makes the final 3, they win.
I don't know about Holly.
I think that Jane or Holly make it to the end, that they win. I think that I'm trying to go down the list of the next person that might win. Benry wouldn't win. Dan wouldn't win. Purple Kelly wouldn't win.
Brenda would have definitely won.
Brenda probably would have. Brenda would have killed it. Marty probably would have won. I would even put Nyanka above Purple Kelly, Benry, and Dan as far as potential people that could have won.
The only thing with her is that she pissed a lot of people off.
Yeah, but look at who she pissed off. And she pissed off Kelly, other Kelly, who got voted out pre-merge, so she doesn't get a vote. She pissed off Fabio, Fabio pissed her off, and she still voted for him.
But she pissed off everyone. She took food.
But they forgave her. That was the thing. Like they let it go.
I guess.
And if she had played, let's say she makes it and she plays an idol at some point, people care about that kind of stuff. And they're like, oh, wow, Nyanka played an idol and it saved her. Guess she's a great player. Let's throw her a vote or two. So that's a fun thing about this. And as the series continues, I do want to do a lot of fantasy booking, fantasy warfare, just kind of see
a little alternate history.
Yeah, see what could have happened if. But I
like to me, the biggest alternate history was, why didn't Sash play his idol on Brenda?
Wasn't he against her in that vote? I assume you haven't.
He ended up going against her because he knew everyone was voting against her.
And I think he was looking at, that's the thing about him is like these bonds that he was building with these people, it didn't come off genuine to them. So that's why no one voted for him, because if he had played his idol on Brenda and then voted her out next round, I feel like she probably still would have voted for him at the end.
I don't think he would have voted Brenda off.
You don't really?
No.
He had to have seen that Brenda was going to win that game.
Yeah, but I don't think you worry about that until later on in the game. You get off everyone else, like Marty and everybody, get them all out, and you worry about that when it's closer to the end.
That's fair.
Ally.
You gotta get rid of Chase Rice, the most famous person to ever come out of Survivor.
Yeah, he just loves singing about Brenda.
Well, it's funny because Chase Rice does not associate with Survivor like at all. Like you'd be hard pressed to find.
So when you told me that, when you said that Chase Rice doesn't talk about Survivor, my assumption was that he did something stupid or that he got voted out early. I mean, even though he did some stupid stuff, he still made it to the finale. And almost
better than Jimmy Johnson.
But he almost won. Like
he lost by a vote. He lost by a vote.
So I don't understand, why wouldn't he be proud of that? I feel like that's a great accomplishment.
I don't know, and I think that might be a reason behind why he portrayed him. I mean, he's probably a very genuine human being, like in real life. He's a Southern boy. But I think that's why he went overboard sometimes with how, oh yeah, I'm just Chase Rice, blah, blah, blah. Because he saw the writing on the wall of his career coming, and he didn't want to be looked at as a villain.
But he didn't start his country music career until after Survivor.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He probably saw the writing because he became famous soon after. So he probably saw the fact that, hey, I could potentially be big. Why would I jeopardize that by portraying myself as, portraying myself like Sash?
So do you think he used Survivor purely to build his country music brand?
No, maybe. It's entirely possible. It's just like the Jimmy Johnson thing, where I've honestly never thought about the Jimmy Johnson thing until right now, where it could have been possible that Jimmy Johnson was trying to get them to put more eyes on the NFL and CBS. Yeah,
no, I think it's the other way. No, I thought CBS. You're trying to get the NFL viewership on Survivor.
To watch Survivor. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then, yeah.
Think about a casual NFL fan that's never watched Survivor, and then be like, "Oh, Jimmy Johnson's on this year." And be like, "Fuck, Jimmy Johnson."
Jimmy Johnson.
And then you get hooked.
We had Gary Hogaboom on season 11. It's like, who?
Oh yeah, who the fuck's that? It'd be like if they brought Peyton Manning on. You'd be like, "Oh, I'd watch that shit."
Well, that was the first episode where they're sitting there and Marty has the confessionals. Like, yeah, I look over. There's Jimmy Johnson. There's Jimmy Johnson to stand there.
Marty hated Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, Marty immediately wanted Jimmy Johnson. It's like,
Jimmy Johnson run this game, and meanwhile, Jimmy Johnson's like, I have money. I don't need this. See, Jimmy Johnson is such a great character. If he was just a heel, if he was like, I don't need this money, I'm good, and then finally was just like, fuck all you, I'm winning this shit.
Well, and that's what I think that he could have gone further, because he wasn't on anyone's radar on the old people tribe except for Marty and Jimmy T. And if he hadn't laid down on his sword, it's entirely possible Jimmy Johnson gets to the merge, and at that point, who's going to vote out Jimmy Johnson? Because all you got to do is say is, oh yeah, I'll bring Jimmy Johnson to the end because no one's going to give him $1 million because he's Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, he's already.
There is an alternate timeline where Jimmy Johnson gets to the end.
Yeah, I think so, and I think he would be for sure second place
over Dan.
I think honestly, you put Jimmy Johnson against anybody, he's probably second place.
He's probably second place.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait for you to watch Survivor Philippines. Actually, there's a lot more seasons with former professional athletes, but Philippines, I think, is the next season. Oh no, that's a lie. The next season you watch has a professional athlete on it. Redemption Island has a professional athlete on it.
And this is the one with Rob and
Russell.
And Russell.
Yeah, and so we go to the reunion, and there's a segment where Probst is like shitting on Nayanka, and like he gets her mom involved and all this other stuff. It's like really weird. And then he's teasing the next season. Oh, he does his interview. I think he does an interview with Boston Rob, and then he does a tease for the next season where he's like, "Oh yeah, like we're gonna have Boston Rob versus Russell finally after Heroes versus Villains. You guys wanted more Russell? You got it." And it's like, all right. I mean, did we want more? But the tease for that season. And like I said, I won't spoil it for you, but the tease for that season, as compared to how the season goes, I've already those of you watching the video, I've already done the episode on why Redemption Island is not as bad of a season as people might portray it as. But yeah, final thoughts on Nicaragua because we've gone 40 minutes.
I mean, I still will say this: the first 5 episodes were the best 5 episodes of any season.
Would you, of the 20 seasons that you watch, because Ben skipped Thailand, thank God. Of the 20 seasons you've watched, would you say it's the worst of the 20 seasons you've watched?
No, it's not the worst because the beginning was so good. I loved the beginning. I know people are probably going to hate that, but the beginning of it, I thought the first 5 episodes were the best 5 episodes of the beginning of the season. I loved it. It was crazy. Every episode had me crying, laughing.
Chase Rice is worth $5 million. I just looked it up, which is a lot lower than I thought it would be. I have Nicaragua as my 35th ranked season of all time. I understand people's qualms with it, but I don't think it deserves as much hate as it gets. And I hope over these last 40 minutes, the two of us have been able to convince you that maybe you should give Nicaragua a rewatch and just kind of understand, yes, there's going to be an episode where 2 people quit. Get over it. Yes, you're not going to like the winner. Get over it. But hey, look, it's Chase Rice.
But this is the same thing as, so you're coming after Heroes versus Villains, which personally I think is the best season I've seen. So your expectations are here. You got to set them way lower.
You got to lower them a little bit.
It's like, what was the season after All Stars?
Vanuatu.
And
Chris.
I'm pretty sure that season stunk, right?
I liked it. I liked Chris overtaking all the women because you remember they had like you hated that?
Yeah, I think that was my least favorite season.
Okay.
It was because I was coming off I loved All Stars.
You loved All Stars. That is actually an hot take. There are people that work for this network that I got into a debate with because they were doing a tier ranking of all the seasons, and I sat there and told them that All Stars was horrible, and they were like, "Coach, like it's definitely A tier, blah blah blah, Boston Rob, this, that, and the other," and I'm like, but Jenna's like parent died and Sue quit, and like it was uncomfortable. But I mean. So honestly, you would put Nicaragua above Vanuatu is what? Yeah. All right.
And I know that this may change next season when I watch this next Boston Rob season. But for me, any season that has Boston Rob in it, it's primetime TV for me.
Okay. Well, and I think we'll be around. I think we'll be around each other for your watch of that season. So I'm interested.
Florida, get me down to Florida.
I'm interested to see how you take that one, but we will be back next week. I don't know exactly which topic I'm going to touch on next week. I have a list, but appreciate Ben for stopping in and doing this. And yeah, I'm gonna, until next time, see you on the other side.